Joining me now is Ken Engquist, the CEO of Intrepid Metals. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
So let's get snapshots now of these three main projects you have in Arizona. You've got Corral, and you said the recent drilling results have been quote unquote amazing.
Yes.
You've got Tombstone South and Mesa Well. So give us an overview there if you could.
Yeah, sure. So we've got three projects, as you said, in Arizona. Arizona is one of the top mining jurisdictions in the world. 70% of the U.S. copper supply comes from the state of Arizona. It's the largest mineral producer in the United States. And we started out by de-risking these projects by not putting ourselves in a land-encumbered position. We selected projects that are locations for projects that aren't in national forests or encumbered protected areas. So out of the gates, we're not going to be having to deal with any of that risk. We've got great access infrastructure. As you know, Arizona has generations and generations of the mining industry and the infrastructure to support it. And in the spring of this year, we did our maiden drill program on our Corral property, and had some pretty impressive results. So we saw about 4,800 meters of drilling. It was largely confirmatory drilling because we have about 50,000 meters of historical drill data. We don't have the core. It's a very fragmented land package owned by several owners, and what we did in the first 2 years is we did a land consolidation and made sure we got that land package de-risked as much as possible, and established that. And now we have 9,600 acres, 1,800 of which is private lands, so patented mining claims and surface rights. And the initial drill program, we used that historical data to target our drill locations and came up with really impressive intervals. One of the most impressive is 112 meters at 1.5% copper, near surface, and shallow, high-grade mineralization, and that's what we tell everybody. That's our five-minute elevator speech pitch: is high-grade, shallow, Arizona, and not on national forests. And
that's nice and tight.
Yeah, and Cochise County as well, which is a kicker. And we have a couple other intervals that are north of 100 meters, almost 200 meters of 0.5% and 7% copper. I mean, those are great grades, and you know, you'll see a lot of other projects around the world that are cheering about those grades, but at depth, not at the surface like we're seeing.
Right.
So yeah, we're pretty excited about that Corral project.
Okay, now Ken, you've said you're looking to do a raise at some point fairly soon. For a larger drilling program at Corral. You've identified, or the team has, a dozen new targets, and you've also said that possibly you drill maybe concurrently at Tombstone South. Is that still in the works?
That is the initial plan. I mean, we've got to be smart about how we raise money and everything, because we are a low market cap right now, and you know, we want to control the value growth here because it is a significant story. It's growing. It's turning a lot of heads. So we want to, you know, we may be looking at some alternative ways, financing strategies to maybe do a smaller program even to initially get ourselves past the U.S. elections and past some of the Chinese economy issues and things that we believe are driving a lot of the copper market. But one thing's for sure in the copper industry, and everybody's been saying it, is that we are heading for a massive cliff in supply, and there is certainly not enough demand and not enough new operations or even brownfield projects coming online to support that demand in the future as we look to electrify the planet and you know, support the electrical vehicle revolution, AI, and the decarbonization of the planet. So we're in a great jurisdiction, we're in a great sector, great commodity, and you know, early days, and we really want to control that value. So we're going to be looking at financing strategies here. We've got about $2 million in cash in the bank right now, and we can do some work in the field with that right now, and get us past the elections and into January if we want to, or we have some potential high net worth investors that are very interested in everything as well. I mean, with conferences like this, like I said again, we're turning a lot of heads.
Great, good stuff. Now, Tombstone South is 75 kilometers away from the Taylor deposit, which, as you know, was bought in, I guess, 6 years ago, 1.3 billion. So interesting location. You plan to drill 4 to 5 holes, 4,000 meters. Yeah. So can you flesh out more about the locale and also the prospectivity there?
Yeah, I actually oversaw the feasibility for the Taylor project, the Hermosa project, back in 2018, when and I got about 90% through with it by the time before South 32 came in and bought it for 1.3 billion. Excuse me, but they a very similar geology, as geologically speaking, it's right next door essentially to Tombstone South. In 2022, we did a large dipole IP survey, inverse polarization magnetic survey, and what we saw was a hot spot that lit up that the geologists can only explain through the same mineralization that they see at Taylor. So it's where the limestones and the sediments come together adjacent to a fault or an intrusive opposite of a low-grade porphyry, which would be the heat source for those hot fluids to fly up, to move up, and to get to the ideal mineralization zone, just like in Taylor. Excuse me. What we've seen in the past, there's been historical drilling. BHP drilled back there in the 90s, but nobody's drilled deep enough to get through that transition or that strata between the sediments and into the main host mineralization rock. And so we'd be looking to do some deep holes, 4 or 5 holes at about 1,000 meters, and punch through that and get down to that anomaly. And that's what's drawn a lot of excitement when we talk to this about with investors and shareholders and technical people is this anomaly at Tombstone. People want us to drill it, and some people are, as exciting as Corral is, some people get more excited about Tombstone. So we're in a good spot.
Right, sounds like it, sounds like it. Okay, so lastly here, Ken, what are the keys to de-risking and executing on the strategy and fold that into the overall investment case, which you've already given us a very brief little elevator pitch as well.
Yeah, well, the assets got to be there, right? We're starting to build out the rest of the team. We brought on a new board member with a really solid background of success this past week, Matt Lennox-King. Matt comes with a great network of, from this industry and a great track record, and we're looking forward to, his support on this. But we're laying out the strategy, and I think as we've laid out another drill program for the next phase. It's 95% complete, I'd say. We've got a few tweaks to make. But it's largely identified with about 75% of the drilling being brownfield and infield and step-out drilling, about 50 meters from current known mineralization to fill in between the Holiday, Earp, and Ringo zones and broaden it, and then about 25% in greenfield exploration. So we've done a lot of geophysics this past year and done employed some more modern techniques and tools, and coordinating the data between all those different technologies and those different approaches and surveys and the drill program. We've identified some pretty compelling new targets in the area that would be more exploration that we think is going to draw a lot of interest as well. So the strategy is going to be to see how we can surface some value here, and we've got some money to continue doing some more geophysics, but also surfacing the value and getting our share price up past this election to a point where we can raise money at a reasonable share price that's more conducive with the value of what we see in this company.
Right. Well, thanks for the update.
Yeah.
All right. Great stuff. You're very welcome. Thanks to you. Ken Engquist, the CEO of Intrepid Metals.